Like a storm that arrives without warning, the day Sheldon vanished started out perfectly normal. Mary Cooper had packed Sheldon's lunch with a neatly labeled apple juice box and his favorite peanut butter sandwich, crust removed precisely, just the way he liked it. George Sr. had left early for football practice with Georgie, and Missy had stormed out in protest because Mary wouldn't let her wear mismatched socks. It was by all definitions a typical Tuesday morning in East Texas. No one knew it would be the last time they'd see Sheldon that day. At school, Sheldon sat in his usual spot in the front row of Mr. Given's class. He had a new paper he was working on, The Inherent Flaws in Human Emotional Reasoning. He was quiet, focused, and as always, intellectually aloof. But something else was different. At 10:37 a.m., Sheldon raised his hand, asked for the restroom pass, and walked out into the hallway. He never came back. Initially, no one noticed. Not the teacher, not the students. It was only when lunch began and Sheldon didn't take his seat at his regular table with his tray precisely positioned, that Billy Sparks mumbled, "Hey, where's Moonface?" Principal Peterson was called. Mary Cooper was phoned. At first, she laughed it off. Oh Lord, he probably found some lab on campus and locked himself in. But when they opened every door in Medford High and Sheldon wasn't behind any of them, the panic began to set in. The school was placed on lockdown, and police were called. George Sr. arrived, face drained, hands trembling. He tried to stay calm for Mary, but the crack in his voice betrayed him. "We'll find him, Mare. He's smart. Smarter than all of us." But as hours turned into evening, and evening turned into night, there was still no sign of Sheldon. Meanwhile, Sheldon was in motion, but not by his own will. At 10:44 a.m., a white van with rusted corners was seen slowly exiting the back alley of the school compound. A security guard remembered the vehicle, but thought it was a delivery van. Later, CCTV footage confirmed what everyone feared. Sheldon had been taken. And more disturbingly, he didn't seem to be resisting. He looked calm. Missy, watching the footage, whispered, "Why does he look like he knows that man?" The investigation began to unearth odd details. A day before Sheldon's disappearance, he had searched quantum surveillance blind spots in satellite tracking on the school's library computer. He had also emailed a name no one recognized, Dr. Kessler. A name that didn't exist in any local database, phone book, or academic journal. The email read, "I'm ready, but we have limited time. Please don't tell them yet." Mary broke down crying when she read it. Tell who? What was he ready for? Back at home, Missy went digging through Sheldon's bedroom. She found a notebook hidden behind his physics books. Inside were pages of complex math, but in the center was a drawing, Sheldon, standing beside a tall shadowy figure, under a dome that looked almost extraterrestrial. Below it, in shaky handwriting, he said he'd show me the truth. I want to know. Was this just a child's fantasy? Or something more dangerous? At midnight, a knock echoed through the Cooper home. A police officer stood solemnly with a backpack in his hand. "We found this in an abandoned building near Route 6, he said. "It's Sheldon's. But there's something else." He handed Mary a voice recorder. The play button had been scratched over, used dozens of times. George pressed it. A voice came through, crackly, mechanical, but unmistakably Sheldon's. "If you're hearing this, it means I went through with it. I'm not missing. I'm learning. Don't try to find me. You'll only make it worse." For the next 36 hours, the Cooper household was frozen in a mixture of terror and disbelief. Sheldon's message echoed like a siren in Mary's ears. "Don't try to find me. You'll only make it worse." But how could a mother not try? George Sr. tried to stay grounded, calling every contact he knew, pushing local law enforcement beyond protocol. Georgie got into fights at school because someone joked that Sheldon ran away to Area 51. Missy stopped speaking altogether, just sat on the couch holding Sheldon's old Star Trek communicator badge, like it was a relic of a lost world. Meanwhile, something strange was happening at the Medford Public Library. The elderly librarian Ms. Bunford reported that two government-looking men had come asking for Sheldon Cooper's browsing history. They showed no badges, left no names. But they took the library's backup server and warned her not to speak of it. Of course she did exactly that. When Mary heard this, Her blood ran cold. Sheldon had always warned her about systems that overlook human rights for the sake of control. Could it be, was Sheldon right? Back at the police station, Detective Harper received an anonymous envelope. Inside was a black flash drive and a single piece of paper with one line. He was chosen, not taken. The video on the drive showed Sheldon inside a metallic room, circular with no visible seams. He stood before a tall man in a gray coat, who spoke without moving his lips. A robotic, synthesized voice rang through the chamber. Sheldon, your mind is unique. You calculated a paradox that our systems have failed to resolve for over 50 years. You were born to see beyond. Sheldon replied. Then why take me like this? Why not ask? You would have said no. They always do. But once they understand, they stay. You'll understand soon. Then the screen went black. Mary screamed. George punched the wall. Missy whispered. We have to go to where he drew the dome. She led them to the back of a gas station off Route 6, where Sheldon had once spent a whole afternoon just staring at the treeline. Missy pointed out a clearing in the woods, strangely symmetrical, unnaturally quiet. No birds. No wind. As they approached, George's compass watch stopped spinning. Mary's phone screen glitched, showing a string of numbers. 001, 101, 0110. Missy noticed a metal hatch beneath the moss. They pried it open. Inside was a cold ladder descending into darkness. And logic, Mary went first. The tunnel led to a chamber resembling the one in the video. It was sterile, silver, and eerily silent. Then a voice rang out again, Sheldon's. I told you not to come. He stepped from the shadows. His face was paler, eyes slightly glassier, but he was unharmed, wearing a suit-like uniform with a glowing symbol on the chest. Mary ran to hug him, but Sheldon stepped back. I'm not done yet. I came here to finish something. Something that could change the laws of physics. They're not aliens. They're humans from a future version of Earth, trying to fix the past. George frowned. Sheldon, what the hell are you talking about? They call it Project Regenesis. Time loops, memory corrections, moral realignments. They recruited kids whose brains operated beyond normal cognition. I was flagged when I solved a zero-knowledge proof encryption method. In my sleep. Missy burst out. This is insane. You're not some sci-fi soldier. No, Sheldon said calmly. But I am a variable. And they're counting on me to reset the equation before time folds in on itself. Mary cried. You're still a child. He looked at her, softer now. That's why I left a way home. A nearby wall shimmered. A portal opened. A view of their kitchen, at the exact moment Mary had packed his lunch 2 days ago. It's a memory tunnel, Sheldon said. You can go back, reset the day, live it like it never happened. But if you do, you'll forget all of this. And so will I. Missy looked torn. And if we stay? Then we live outside the equation, always knowing what we were never meant to know. They stood there in silence. Finally, George took Mary's hand and said, Let's go home. He'll find his way. He always does. Missy lingered, looking at Sheldon one last time. I'll remember you, even if I forget, she said. Sheldon smiled. For the first time in days. They stepped through. Flash. It was Tuesday morning again. Mary packing lunch. Missy arguing about socks. George getting ready for practice. Sheldon walked into the kitchen, rubbing his eyes. Did I oversleep? He asked. Mary turned, startled. No, sweetie. You're right on time. But in his pocket, a metal badge with a glowing symbol remained. He didn't know what it meant.